The night had begun like any other for Mal Perales and her two roommates, Jenna and Lisa. They had spent the evening celebrating Jenna's birthday, laughing and sharing stories at their favorite local bar. The air was thick with the scent of fried food and spilled drinks, and the sound of clinking glasses punctuated their animated conversations. They left the bar just after midnight, the cool air wrapping around them like a refreshing blanket as they stepped into the night. The trio piled into Mal's car, the stereo blasting their favorite playlist, the mood buoyant and carefree. As they drove along Packer Drive northeast in Belmont, Michigan, the world outside the car was a blur of streetlights and shadows. The roads were quiet, the kind of stillness that felt almost eerie after a night filled with laughter. They chatted animatedly, recounting the highlights of the evening, their laughter echoing in the confined space. It was a moment of pure joy, one that felt as if it could last forever. But then, as they rounded a bend, the atmosphere shifted. There, illuminated by the dim glow of the car's headlights, stood a figure on the roadside. The sight was jarring, an unexpected intrusion on their carefree night. Mal's heart raced as she squinted into the darkness, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The figure appeared to be a young woman, drenched and disheveled, her clothes clinging to her skin as if she had just emerged from the nearby Rogue River. The woman stood there, swaying slightly, her hair matted, and her expression one of sheer distress. Mal's instinct was to drive past, to ignore the unsettling sight, and continue on their way. But curiosity, that insatiable human trait, tugged at the trio. "Should we go back?" Jenna asked, her voice laced with concern. Lisa nodded, her brow furrowed. "What if she needs help?" Mal hesitated, her mind racing with conflicting thoughts. They had been warned about the dangers of the night, about the risks that lurked in the shadows. Yet, the look on the woman's face stirred something deep within her, a sense of empathy that could not be ignored. With a quick decision, Mal turned the car around, the headlights sweeping over the woman once more. As they approached, the reality of the situation became clearer. The woman looked lost, her eyes wide and unseeing, as if she were trapped in a world of her own despair. Mal parked the car, and the three friends stepped out, their hearts pounding in their chests. "Are you okay?" Mal called out, her voice trembling slightly. The woman didn't respond, her gaze fixed somewhere far beyond them, lost in her own thoughts. Jenna pulled out her phone, capturing the moment on video, the instinct to document the surreal encounter overtaking her. "This is going to be wild," she whispered to Lisa, who stood beside her, equally unsettled. The video would later go viral, sparking a frenzy of theories and speculation online. But in that moment, all they could do was stand there, uncertain and afraid, yet compelled to reach out. "We're here to help," Lisa said softly, stepping closer. The woman finally turned her gaze toward them, and it was a look that struck Mal to her core. There was a flicker of recognition, a moment where it seemed as if the woman was trying to grasp reality, but it quickly faded, replaced by a hollow stare. "Help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the rustling leaves. It was a plea that sent shivers down Mal's spine. The trio stood frozen, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. They could see the woman's distress, the way her body trembled slightly, as if she were caught in a storm of emotions. "We're calling for help," Mal said, her voice steadier than she felt. She pulled out her phone, her fingers shaking as she dialed 911. The operator's voice was a lifeline, grounding her as she relayed their location and the situation at hand. While they waited for the authorities to arrive, Mal and her friends continued to check on the woman, trying to offer comfort. "What's your name?" Mal asked gently, hoping to draw her back to reality. The woman blinked, confusion clouding her eyes. I don't remember," she stammered, her voice breaking. It was a chilling admission, one that sent a wave of unease through Mal. As the minutes ticked by, they stayed close, the woman's distress palpable. Mal could feel her heart aching for this stranger, for the pain that radiated from her very being. She glanced at Jenna and Lisa, and they exchanged worried looks, silently questioning what they had stumbled into. The night, once filled with laughter and joy, had transformed into something dark and unsettling. Finally, the sound of sirens pierced the stillness, a welcome relief that brought with it a sense of urgency. The police arrived, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as they approached the scene. Mal stepped back, allowing the officers to take over, her heart racing as she watched them interact with the woman. They spoke in calm, soothing tones, their professionalism reassuring. But the reality of the situation weighed heavily on Mal's mind. "Is she going to be okay?" Jenna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mal didn't have an answer. The woman was still in distress, her eyes darting around as if she were trying to escape an unseen threat. The officers guided her toward their patrol car, offering her a blanket as they assessed her condition. Mal felt a mixture of relief and dread, knowing that this moment would haunt them long after they returned home. Once the police were on the scene, Mal and her friends retreated to the car, the weight of the encounter settling heavily on their shoulders. Jenna, still holding her phone, began to edit the video they had captured, her excitement from earlier now replaced with a sense of somber reflection. "This is going to go viral," she said quietly, her eyes glued to the screen. "But should we post it? What if it's too much?" Mal shrugged, her mind racing. "I think we should. People need to know what happened. Maybe someone will recognize her or know what's going on." Lisa nodded in agreement, though her expression was troubled. They had witnessed something profound, something that transcended the typical night out. It felt wrong to bury it, to pretend it hadn't happened. As the video went live on TikTok, the trio watched as comments began to flood in, a mix of curiosity, concern, and wild theories. Some viewers speculated about supernatural encounters, suggesting the woman was a ghost or a lost soul. Others offered more grounded theories, wondering if she was a victim of foul play or simply lost in the woods. Mal felt a chill run down her spine as she read the comments, the weight of the situation growing heavier. In the days that followed, the incident continued to linger in their minds. Mal found herself scrolling through local social media groups, searching for any updates about the woman they had encountered. She was desperate to understand what had happened, to make sense of the chaos that had unfolded that night. The more she read, the more she discovered about the strange occurrences that had plagued the area. Residents reported seeing the woman wandering near the river earlier that night, her behavior erratic and unsettling. Some claimed to have heard her crying, while others mentioned seeing her talking to herself. The stories were chilling, each one adding another layer to the mystery of her appearance. Mal couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this woman's story, something hidden beneath the surface. Despite her efforts, Mal was unable to uncover the woman's identity due to privacy laws. It felt frustrating, as if the universe was keeping secrets from her. But she couldn't let it go. The woman's plea for help echoed in her mind, and she became determined to find answers. As she delved deeper into local news reports and social media threads, she stumbled upon a missing persons case from Kalamazoo that sent a shiver down her spine. The woman they had encountered bore a striking resemblance to a young woman named Sarah Collins, who had vanished weeks earlier under mysterious circumstances. The similarities were uncanny. Both were in their 20s, with similar hair and build. Mal's heart raced as she read through the details of Sarah's case, her mind racing with possibilities. Could this woman be Sarah? Had they unknowingly crossed paths with someone who had been lost for weeks? Mal shared her findings with Jenna and Lisa, and they were equally captivated by the theory. They spent hours poring over the details, connecting dots and piecing together the fragments of information they had gathered. The more they learned, the more they felt compelled to reach out to the authorities, to share their insights and potentially help solve the mystery. But as they attempted to contact the local police, they faced roadblocks. The case was sensitive, and privacy laws prevented them from receiving any updates. It was maddening, the feeling of being so close yet so far from the truth. Mal felt a sense of urgency, a need to do something, anything to help. She began to reach out to local news outlets, hoping to share their story and raise awareness about Sarah's disappearance. As the days turned into weeks, the incident began to fade from the public eye. But for Mal, Jenna, and Lisa, it remained a haunting reminder of the fragility of life. They had witnessed a moment of crisis, a glimpse into the struggles faced by individuals battling their demons. The weight of that night lingered in their minds, a constant reminder of the importance of compassion and understanding. Eventually, Mal received a message from a local journalist who had seen their TikTok video. They were interested in covering the story, to shed light on the mysterious encounter and the potential connection to Sarah's case. Mal felt a rush of hope, a chance to bring attention to the issue and perhaps help someone in need. She agreed to an interview, pouring her heart into the recounting of the events that had unfolded that night. As the article was published, the response was overwhelming. People began to share their own experiences, stories of encounters with individuals in crisis, and the struggles faced by those dealing with mental health issues. The conversation sparked by their encounter grew, and Mal felt a sense of purpose blossoming within her. They had turned a moment of fear into a catalyst for change, a chance to raise awareness about the importance of mental health and the need for compassion in the face of crisis. In the weeks that followed, Mal continued to advocate for mental health awareness, sharing resources and stories on social media. She became involved in local organizations that focused on helping those in need, channeling her energy into something positive. The experience had changed her, opened her eyes to the struggles faced by others, and ignited a passion for making a difference. Though they never learned the woman's identity or the outcome of Sarah's case, Mal, Jenna, and Lisa found solace in the knowledge that they had acted when it mattered most. They had chosen empathy over fear, compassion over indifference, and in doing so they had forged a bond that would last a lifetime, a reminder of the night their ordinary lives intersected with something extraordinary. As the seasons changed and life returned to a semblance of normalcy, the memory of that night remained etched in their minds. It was a chilling incident that had unfolded under the cover of darkness, but it had also been a moment of awakening, a reminder that behind every face there is a story, a struggle, and a plea for understanding. And in a world often filled with chaos, it is the connections we make, the compassion we show, that truly matter.